What is up, my fam bam? Ashley Elizabeth here with ADHM Artistry, welcoming you to another eye tutorial using the Colourpop X Disney Princess It's a Princess Thing designer collection palette, long name palette thing. I am here to give you guys another eye tutorial covering this because you know how I do it. I don't just do one and done when it comes to eyeshadow products. I like to do a few because I like to really get my money's worth. And also I like to let you guys know, like, if it's something that you guys ended up purchasing, especially off of my reviews and stuff, I want to give you other eye looks, not just like one and done. I want to show you guys multiple looks. So earlier today, I asked you guys on Instagram what kind of shades you want to see me pull out from this palette. And I had requests for smoky eye and specifically thingamabob. So I came up with this smoky eye cut crease tutorial, fully letting that thingamabob color shine, and holy crap, you guys. First of all, before we get started in the tutorial, let me tell you like my honest review on this palette so far, in case you haven't gotten a hint yet. I have used it now, it's been over a month, and I've used it a lot, and just as my first impressions predicted, it is amazing. It is gorgeous, it is beautiful. They just had a restock, by the way. So if you've still been looking at this, but it was out of stock, it should be back in stock now, allegedly. So it is amazing. If you didn't know, I used the couple of these shades in this palette to do my Elsa tutorial. I think it was Fairy Godmother, and I think I used some stuff on the inner corner. I know I used some of these shades up here too. So quite a few of those in my Elsa tutorial. So if you want to see that look, you can check that out. And then I also used it in an Instagram post that I did, and it was very fall, spicy colors. Really pretty. And then I've used it in a couple other ways that I didn't video or anything. It's just been amazing. There are some really cool, like, everyday looks that you can get with this palette also. Not all drama, but it is nice to know that you can get some drama with that. Hello. So I will definitely film a video on that, some everyday wears, because there was like a look that I did that was so easy and simple. I just popped some color in and I was like good to go, but it looked like I took a long time with my makeup, and that is what we all really like, right? Now in this eye tutorial, there was a lot of like techniques and stuff involved, so I don't do a lot of chit chat this time. I did want to go over like a lot more techniques and how-tos and, like, you know, troubleshooting a little bit. Not super crazy in depth, but little tips and tricks that I thought of along the way. Hopefully that'll be a little more helpful than just like a basic smoky eye tutorial, because there's lots of those out on the YouTube world. So I just wanted to show you guys like why I was doing what I was doing and everything. So if you like over explaining, then you'll like this one. Enough talking, enough jibber jabbing. Let's go ahead and get started right into this eye tutorial right here. So I already started off by doing my face makeup and my eyebrows. I hope I don't regret that, because although I've used this palette quite a few times now, probably a lot now, I haven't dipped into the black that much, so hopefully I don't get a ton of fallout, but whatever, girl, whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes with a Frankie Rose Eye Promise eye primer like I always do, and I'm gonna set my brow bone with my Too Faced Marshmallow color like I always do. And the reason I set my lids with the different shade from a Too Faced palette is because if you remember from my other videos covering this palette, there's no like good base shade for my skin tone. We tried using Chip here. It's just a little too dark, and this shade on camera is going to look like a perfect little white brown bone shade, but it's actually super shimmery, and it's gorgeous. It has like a beautiful duochrome, but point is it's not great for a brow bone shade unless it's just like to accent. So that's why I had to dip into another palette. You don't have to use this one. It is discontinued from last Christmas, so whatever brow bone shade you like, do that. I need to get like a good basic like single, that way I can just pull it out every time and show you guys, and that way it's easy if you like the color, because using that is probably frustrating for you guys. I'm like, hello. Let's first do a slight transition with Juju, that kind of pinkish shade, and then I'm gonna start going into a Midnight Curfew, which, you guys, I don't know if you remember this swatch. Let me show you. It is a beautiful black with silver reflectives in it, and it's gonna be so pretty with our silver eye look. The silver I'm gonna be using is this one right here. Oh, do you guys see that? Oh, I mean, well, you already saw the eye look, I know, but it's just so pretty. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, zoomed you guys in so you can see everything better. You know my style, you know what I like to do. So I'm gonna start with Juju, like I just mentioned, and I'm gonna blend it into the crease. This will help maintain that cool tone and then give it a nice transition to when I move on to the black shade. All right, now we're gonna start playing around with Midnight Curfew. I'm gonna take this little flat pencil brush, tap off any kind of excess. Not a lot's tapping off, but I just wanna make sure I don't get any fallout. So I'm gonna start building up the pigment. I'm gonna start right here on the outer V of the eye, bringing it in a little bit. I don't have to bring it in too far because I am gonna do that silver cut crease look. Kind of patting instead of swiping. That helps with fallout too. This is also a synthetic but soft-haired bristled brush. Sometimes really natural hairs or really pokey brushes will give a lot of kickback and you'll experience a lot more fallout with it, so be careful of that too. Okay, now I'm gonna start bringing it into the crease. Again, patting motion. Just gonna start patting it right into the crease. Not bringing it up too high, just a little bit. I know some people don't like to use anything in the crease that has shimmer or glitter in it, but this is so soft and subtle and pretty, and it's gonna look really nice with the silver, so do not be afraid to do this, because it's really pretty. V-ing it out a little bit, and I'll go back and blend that once I have everything laid down. So right now we are just laying down the color, and then we will blend out. All right, looking nice and cray-cray, right? So I'm gonna take the other end of this Urban Decay brush, and this is a stiffer type of blending brush, so it doesn't have a lot of fluffy, crazy movement, but it looks like it's one that does. So this is like the fluffy brush I'll be going in with after that. So this one, as you can see, it's a little much more straight, and it's just a little more structured when you feel it. It has more of a pushback when you use it. It's not too flimsy, you know. So I'm just gonna take it and very gently rock back and forth, and I'm kind of just pushing around the colors, and I'm gonna push it up to start to blend it. This little upward motion, rocking back and forth. Now with smoky eyes, and blending in general, but specifically smoky eyes, when you're working with these darker shades, you wanna be patient, you wanna have time to blend out, and you want to take your time, because it can go crazy real fast on you. So I like to do it this way. I know there's lots of different techniques to do a smoky eye, but this is my favorite way because you get that bold look still. It doesn't take away too much product, you know. And see, it's starting to blend with that first shade that we put down, and it's looking that out. Really pretty. And it's all kind of eyeing it now, edge a little bit, and right seeing here where you want it to be, everything to be more intense, more smoked out. Kind of just going back and forth. I know I'm fast forwarding through some of this, but just take note, I am not even redipping my brush. This is all just product pushing right now. If we need to add more, I will let you know, but right now it's just moving and blending, baby. Moving and blending. That was a terrible snap. Nope. There we go. I'm liking that so far. I am gonna add a little tiny bit in the inner corners right here because I can see a line a little bit. So I'm gonna just do a little tap off the excess. First I'm gonna pat it. Yeah, pigment girl. Pat it over here too. And then I'm now gonna take this fluffy brush and I'm gonna blend. Now I'm gonna alternate, so go back in with this stiff one until you're happy with it. Now I'm going in with that fluffy brush and I'm just blending and blending some more. I'm gonna intensify it just a little bit more just because I really wanna take it there. So I'm gonna dip back into Thingamabob with that first flat pencil brush, pack on another little layer. This part will be fast. You're just intensifying it now. And bring it around town, baby. Bring it around town. Now for this one, I'm just gonna do my fluffy brush because it just needs to blend into the other blacks. It doesn't have to be crazy. Now if you watch my eye tutorials, and then you'll recognize this trick that I like to do. I like to go in with my first brow bone shade that we used, and I'm gonna rock back and forth and alternate between the brushes to do kind of like a reverse blend. So just tap a little bit on the brow bone. This will give a little bit more of an intensified look depending on the shade that you do on the brow bone. And then right under. And make sure, especially for your brows, that you go in from an up angle, because if you have a rounded brush like this, it'll sweep perfectly right under the brow. If you go in like this, you might rough up your brow work that you've already done. Now I'm going back in with the fluffy brush, not adding any pigment to it because it already probably has some left over on it. And I'm just gonna make sure that's blended out. And this is where I'm talking about. We're gonna go back and forth, dip if you need to, but alternate between the brow bone shade and your black shade that you're using, or if you're doing other colors, alternate between that until you're happy with that blend. And again, I'm going at an upwards angle now since I'm knowing where my color is going, and I'm just feathering it. That's all that I'm doing now, just feathering it. Now for my favorite part, cutting that crease. Ooh, yes. So we're gonna take the Shape Tape or use whatever concealer you like to use, or primer, whatever. Concealer or something like that will work best because it'll cancel out any kind of pigment that you have laid down. And have it right on the back of my hand right here. I'm gonna take my synthetic concealer brush, if I can find her. This is a little tiny one. This is from the BH Cosmetics Rose Romance brush set, and I love it. And I'm gonna just round it out, starting right here at the inner corner. I need a little more concealer. I don't know what I was thinking, girl. Like the tiniest dollop. There we go. I'm just following the edges of my, kind of like my eyeball. Not really where my crease is, just like going with the brush, taking it where it wants to go. All right, now keep in mind your eye shape when you're doing cut creases. I have very hooded eyelids, so mine look really giant, but when I close my eyes, it all disappears, baby. So I have to take mine bigger than my crease, or else there's just not enough showing through. So I'm gonna go in now with Thingamabob on that same brush. I just wiped it off, and I'm gonna load up my brush like that. I'm just gonna start packing it on in the same way we packed on the concealer, except more of a patting motion as opposed to a sweeping motion. Guys, shit is so pretty. You would think this was like the Stila Shimmer and Glows. Like, it's so creamy, it's so smooth, and it just wants to stick on your lid. It really does. It's insane. It's insane. And I'll just round it out right here, kind of bring it down a little bit. And I'm gonna pat where I want and then pull it down, as opposed to like rubbing, because then you'll lose that shape. And I'm just gonna kind of blend a little bit right there. I'm gonna go back in with the black and make sure that's nice and blended after I do the other side. All right, before I move on, I just wanna show you this little technique, I guess you could say, that I use when I'm doing these on my own eyes. So if you have any kind of folds or hoodedness on your eyes like I do, cut creases and stuff can be a challenge. So I am looking down at a mirror, and that seems to help a lot with anybody. Even if you're working on somebody else, have them look towards the floor but not shut their eyes completely. And I'm gonna go, I look back and forth like at the end once I placed it, and kind of slightly even it out to make sure they're as even as I can get. Obviously nothing's gonna be 100% perfect because our eyes aren't exactly identical, but looking down, taking the brush, just fine tuning a little bit. If you need to dip, you can dip. That tends to help. And then I kind of lift up my brows at the same time too, because obviously when I close them, everything changes, but it's easier to get that shape when I lift my brows up a little bit. It's a lot harder, and my skin tends to, you know, those wrinkles that I have right there from the eyelids folding, if I just have my lids closed and I try to drag it, it'll get like a kind of jagged line. For that matter, I honestly lift my brows up for most of my eye tutorials. It's just a force of habit. It's something that I don't even think about. I'm so used to doing it, but I thought I'd mention it in this video right here because maybe that's helpful for some of you guys, just to get those like rounded out edges. Let's go ahead and blend out the corners right here. I'm just going to take that first flat pencil brush that I was using, dip a tiny bit back into the black shade, which is again called Midnight Curfew, and I'm going to feather it, I would say. So I'm not like fully blending, I'm kind of patting and pulling at the same time, but very gently. Yeah, and you can do this as far as you want. Oh, really pretty. I'm liking it. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit over here on the sides and a smidge bit. Now, if you feel that you've lost a lot of darkness around your cut crease, you can go in with a really fine tip brush, like an eyeliner brush or eyebrow brush, and just pat some color right around those edges. Just be very careful, because you're going to want to blend again whatever you put down. Oh, so pretty. I'm going crazy for this eyeshadow. This thingamabob color, you guys, is insane. I didn't even wet my brush. I didn't use a finger. You guys saw it. Oh, it's crazy. Dude, Colourpop, you guys. You know, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. Now, this eyeliner brush is very wiggly, very bendy, so I'm just feathering very lightly that color. So if you have any kind of fine tipped brushes that have a little fluff and blend that won't take away, you can do this. This does take a lot of patience and a steady hand. So just hold your breath and blend out, but you don't want to like lay down that color and then have a crazy harsh line, you know. Now I'm going to smoke out the bottom lash line before we do lashes, so I'm going to dip in with that same pencil brush. I think I already have pigment on there, so I ain't even going to dip her again. I'm just going to go right down the bottom. Oh yeah, see, that's just leftover pigment right there. Okay, now I'm running out, so now I have to dip. Man, it's pigmented. Whoo. My eyelids are glowing. Like literally, I feel like I'm glowing right now. It's crazy. So I'm gonna take this like flat fluffy brush. It has some stain on it. Don't even worry about that. I'm gonna dip into Juju, which is the first shade that we did the transition with. This girl right here, and I'm gonna tap it into Midnight Curfew a tiny bit, and I'm gonna tap off any excess, and I'm gonna really smoke out that lower lash line. And do that as many times if you want. If you want a more straight, solid black line, that's fine. Don't let me tell you what to do and how to live your life. This is just the way I'm doing it today. But I want to get that blend. The only harsh line I want is my silver line right there. I know I sped up through a lot of this and had to make cuts and stuff, or else this would be like a 45-minute long video, but I didn't have any fallout. None. That's awesome. I mean, again, I was patting and it's all about the brush, but woo. Okay, I'm gonna go do my liner and lashes really quickly. Choose whatever you would like to do for that. Honestly, with a cool smoky eye, full-on regular lashes look really cool. This cut crease has a lot more drama to it, so I'm gonna bring the drama to my lashes, of course. I don't know if I want to do a wing liner yet, but let's see if I did. Okay, I went with these Violet Voss I Do Not Care lashes, and I know I use them a lot, and I do not care because I like them. They are good. They are almost like the House of Lashes Knockout, except they flare out more on the edges there. And by the way, I am mad at House of Lashes because they said they are going to discontinue Knockout. Why you do that to me? Why? So allegedly I need to hurry up and buy some before they're gone, but hopefully it's just not propaganda and I stock up and they like never actually discontinue it. But anyways, that's beside the point. I also did my lippies, so I didn't do a wing liner. I just smudged out the top a little bit, wanted to keep it nice and smoky, and then I did black on the inner rim, of course, again, smokiness. So I did my lips and I picked the Stila Stay All Day in Bossy, which is one of my fave babes, you know. I did this nude lip because the eyes are obviously very cool tone eyes and I want to stay in that theme. So when picking a lip to coordinate with your eye look, but you don't want it to be too matchy-matchy, at least try to go with the same undertone, and that way it's not so like, wait, what? So if I did like a nude with a lot of like orangey undertones, then it would look really off because that's silver. So that's how I pick that. Also my skin tone and everything. This just, she's great. And I'm gonna go to dinner right now, and this is something that you can eat through and it doesn't get weird and gross. So I did originally want to pair like a really cool red lip with this, like really like cool tone red, but it's like, you know what? I want to focus on the eyes. I want to create that drama, but play around with it and see if you want to do that. Also, my husband hates any kind of colored lipstick. And he's the one that has to look at me today. After this, you guys have to look at me for a minute, of course. But we are not done yet. We have to do inner corner highlight real quick. And I'm gonna dip into this gorgeous Prince Charming shade that I talked about at the very beginning. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm taking the brow bone brush that I use, tapping off the excess because it is a little dusty. And I'm gonna build up that color right in there. I think this one I had to go in with my pinky, if I remember right. So let's first build up so it blends down to the bottom. Oh, so blown out and pretty. So right now it's very soft and subtle. You can keep it like this, of course, or you can take your pinky with a little bit of it and dab it in, and woo, that intensified it like crazy. Yeah, that one's a little bit more of a dusty color than Thingamabob, the silver shade, but it's okay. It's still pretty. So blend her out a little bit. Got a little dust on that one, so let's dust it out. Now there's one more thing that I want to do a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't make the look too ruined or anything, but one of you guys out there in the fam bam, if I can find the comment, I'll pop it up right here. They were like thingamabob everywhere, all over. So I can't do it all over, but I did it all over the lids, and I'm gonna do a little bit on the highlight. I tried it on my hand and it looks really cool and sparkly. So I'm just gonna tap a little bit, tap off the excess of the thingamabob on my finger. And I already have the highlight from the Jeffree Star palette on there, but I'm gonna intensify it with this glitter. Oh, wow. I'm gonna take a clean finger and just pat that out, you guys. So that is a more glittery, oh yeah, you can see that, glittery highlight, as opposed to just like a shimmer one. But just the tiniest little tap, and you can transform, oh, transform your highlighter without having to buy a whole new one. Wow, that is crazy. I'm gonna take a little bit up here. Wow. Ooh, good idea, love bug. Good idea. Oh my gosh. All right, my love bugs, that is it for today's eye tutorial. I will pop up some up close pictures up here per usual. And if I have some real live action from my phone type video, I will pop it up here, as I have been trying to do lately. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed and learned a couple tips and tricks maybe that you didn't know yet. If you are new to my channel and this is the very first video you've watched, or maybe it's like the 5th or 6th, so maybe it's time for you to go down and hit that little red subscribe button and join our little fan bam that we have here and chat along with us in the comments. Today's comment should be about, let's talk about what new makeup products are you interested in. Anything coming out that you are like heart eye emojis to. Let me know. Let's chat makeup. Let's hang out. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for next week because I have a palette coming that you guys are really excited about to see. So make sure you tune back in for that. If you joined me on my live stream last week, then you know what it's all about. Well, I didn't officially say that I got it, but it was a big hint and I was talking about it on Instagram. So you want to stay tuned for that. All right, you guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and I hope every single one of you have a great, freaking awesome, wonderful, lovely, happy, jolly day.